Worst experience. What's up, guys? Welcome to the YouTube channel, Trade Travel Food Guy 256. This is very sad. It's taken me some time to actually voice over this video, and it's not good news, but it's kind of very sad news. I lost almost everything. So anyway, the story is when I started farming, I started all alone, sourcing things here and there, and sometimes you want to see a dream come true, so you gotta start small. So yeah, somewhat I met a person who was interested in the same thing that I was trying to create, and we had discussions back and forth. For the beginning, they just wanted to support me and the dream that I wanted to create. But like sometimes me as a person, I just have this on me. I don't like receiving help. So I decided that we go under contract. We drafted a contract on how much was needed, drafted budgets, some of which went overboard, but we still ended up sharing the budget 50-50. So after the creation of the business or the project, we actually went ahead to register it as a project before. So the contract was drafted by lawyers. She reviewed her part that she needed to, and then we changed out all the articles that needed to be changed, and we started a business. But a few months into the business, the person got some setbacks, and they couldn't provide the 50 share of what they were supposed to contribute on the expenditures. So as a person who believed in the dream, I decided to take it on and bear the burden as a sole partner. After a while, we started receiving profits because the pigs that we started with were 6 and were starting to give birth. I was taking care of them, paying the workers and buying them food and everything, treating them. It wasn't an easy thing. But after a while, we actually got there. So cutting the story short, the car that you see there, just years later, sent some people. I didn't know. I just that's the security footage. They hooted because I've been working all this while. My money from all the jobs that I do, I've been saving it up to create like something that I really believed in. These people arrived and then they called me. So as we spoke on phone, we actually going through a major outbreak with animals and everything. So we wouldn't allow people to come from the outside, and we're in quarantine. But I realized if I tell these people they couldn't come in, I realized that it would actually cause problems for them to think that I'm just closing them out of the business. So I agreed, and I reached out to the people on ground and asked them to open for them after a while, and then told them to take the safety precautions, sanitize and everything, wear gumboots, and only to let in a few people to go in. And I later got back to the person and I told them, hey, we can actually make a call and there's nobody on ground, but I only have the workers available, so I could actually explain to you what was going on and everything for you to see for yourself. So yeah, when these people arrived, they just went ahead to take like pictures of everything, and I think they weren't even guided to be told that, oh, the only thing that I'm running with this person was just a piggery project. So yeah, it kind of broke my heart, but nevertheless, life moves on. I just want to make this video not to actually make the other person feel bad or make myself look the good person, but I just want to tell farmers out there, sorry about the blurriness. We're just using security footage. So I would just want to advise farmers out there, like if you ever want to do a partnership or a business with somebody, just always, in any business, not even just farming, always remember to put everything on paper, sign it, file with the government, file with authority and everything. Just make sure you have paper trail and documentation for everything that we had done with this person. All the money had gone through banks and everything, and we had receipts almost for everything as we're starting out. And as a person who kept running the business alone without any help, I made sure to keep a tight paper trail of everything that I paid for, how I immunized the animals, treated them and everything, so that it could keep a very good paper trail in case a day like this ever came. I don't know why, but I always had instincts that maybe a day like this would have happened. The other person had also their own issues to raise, and the reason why they were selling. The contract itself would not let us sell just like that. And as a person who wasn't contributing, the contract was actually locking them out on having their share. But as a human being, I just realized that you have to understand that you don't have to always stick by the contract. The contract is there to guide you, but you also have to be a human being and think about the other person. We decided to get on call and then take them through of what the business was looking like and everything. First to see what's on ground before, and then agree about the rest on phone. I tried to do a video call of both of us on to make sure that we go through so that they see what was available, for them to understand what they needed to claim for and what belonged to the partner that I was doing the business with and what didn't belong to them. So as time goes on, they wanted to see what was happening. So here in the video, I was on call with the person that had led the team on ground, so that we could go on a video call and actually get things done. So yeah, this is one of the boys that works there, closing the gate and everything so that he could go and show them around now officially. Of course, this just brings back memories, but God is always there to provide and change the story, So this person had actually asked me to buy them out of the business after the talk. The money that they were wanting and the value of the business at that time wasn't actually reasonable, but I was open to negotiation. So we went and took the video call and started taking them around to see what we had available. We had actually, by this time, the business was actually picking up, not ready to sell, but we had a lot of promising piglets that were growing. In 6 months they would be ready for sale, selling it at a speculative price, really, and we're hoping to do quite a huge sale in December and then wait on the others to come. So we went around and they showed them and everything that was done. Also, they wanted to tour like the other part of the business, which wasn't part of the agreement, but I was okay to just give them a tour and everything, because the business under contract was mostly the one that was the project, the piggery project and everything. So we had a disaster, because in the beginning, what was making us struggle, I think I posted the video of how our water tank fell down and we actually lost it. It went in ruins, and I'd gone ahead to seek this person. I knew they were not ready to contribute for the last couple of years, but I went and told them, there's an emergency of water and everything, could you help me and stuff like that. I really never got a positive answer, so I just decided to leave it. Those are the rubbers of the tank, the black that you're seeing. It was a huge heavy tank, but we were left with nothing. But never be afraid to start all over again. So this is currently a situation that we're still dealing with the scarcity of water. Before, we had an automated system where the pigs would just suck on to nipples and they get clean water, because many people are disgusted of keeping pigs because they think they're dirty animals, but when you manage them well, it makes it easier to run. and clean and keep them safe from diseases and stuff like that. These are all things that we've been learning going on. So we had to get a smaller tank, and I was showing them the smaller tank that we're trying to use, but it's not enough to clean and leave everything But anyways, back to the story. This person had asked me to buy them out of the business, but I wasn't, not that I wasn't willing, but I wasn't ready or had any money to actually put an offer. So because I didn't have the money to put an offer, I had told them to wait for me at the beginning of the year or something for me to actually come up with an offer or anything. They had given me an appraisal for themselves and what they thought it was worth and what they thought I should pay them back. Mind you, in the times that I was keeping and paying for everything, every time I sold, I made sure to keep the bargain of a 50-50 profit share. And apart from one occasion where there was an incident and the person only received 40% of what they were supposed to receive, it's because I had to purchase food for the animals and I was myself low, and I had to use the money that was available to make sure that I purchased the food after the sale, but I made sure they received a 40%. So yeah, we had a very long phone call back and forth to try now and find ways of what looks like how we can buy and how I can buy them out of the business and everything, but it wasn't easy. They wanted the money in a rush, and I couldn't afford to give the money in a rush because I didn't have it. I didn't have anywhere to take a loan or get the money ready for them to actually leave everything else. So yeah, here was the same day. I was still running through the security footage to see what is happening and everything, because it was like really a trying time. I actually cried on this day to watch a baby business that I built from the ground up. Poured all my sweat. Most of these things, some of them were built with my hands to save on costs and everything. Maintained through my hands to make sure that the costs are saved. But anyways, no worries. So back to the story, we had failed to agree. This person told me they would get back to me after this day, and I actually waited for them to get back to me. They actually didn't get back to me that time, and the next time I hear, they call me and they say, oh, they want to take their stuff and everything. So now I had to literally show them the contract and what we had agreed in the contract in the beginning of the business and everything. Of course, the rules were not, the clauses in the business were not favorable. For example, to cite out that we had built the structure together, but they couldn't carry the structure. It was a fixed structure on the land. And also, most of the other construction we had done, all of them had to remain as permanent fixtures on the land, so they couldn't take them. So I told them we could come up with an amicable plan for us to resolve the partnership, and they proposed them taking almost all the animals. I rethought about it, consulted lawyers and everything, and I was like, yeah, the lawyers were just telling me to stick by the contract, but because I'd known this person, and I literally didn't want to walk away on bad terms, because you never know what tomorrow holds, I agreed with the person. They take whatever they wanted, and yeah. So we were on a call back and forth trying to discuss everything, and then we had to include the lawyers on the calls. Of course, things got rocky a bit here and there because they felt like I was burying them in paperwork. But mind you, I was willing to keep a good heart. So yeah, that's mostly part of the call that happened and everything. So I tried to explain to this person on call, but I don't think they were really into listening or understanding what was going on. They were adamantly waiting for me to drop an offer, which I couldn't offer. So I told them to take time and think about it and then give me feedback. So yeah, it happens. I waited and everything. So yeah, after we went into trying to understand what would need to be done and how to do it, we just decided, I personally just decided to give them what they wanted so that I could remain peaceful, because that whole week I had not had any peace. On another day, they arrived and they came with their buyers, and we were in actually a very low season for these animals, because these animals have seasons. Sometimes the prices go high, and also the people that buy are always like looking for the season. When the season is high and they're scarce, they buy very expensively. But when the season is low and you are the one selling, they always buy you at a very cheap price. So the guys that you see on the motorbike parked outside, those are the guys that they come with to actually do the buy. I had to ask someone to stand in for me, and these guys came around. They entered. They coordinated a number of people to actually come and help them. It just looked like we're trying to resist on what we had agreed upon, but it wasn't, because they came a bit aggressive, but that was okay. These guys came around, and yeah, at a point they wanted to change their mind, saying that it was too late for them to actually carry the animals. I was so adamant. Of course, like any business owner, you wouldn't want to see what's something that you've built go out the drain just like that, because this was really down the drain. A plan that I'd made in my mind, calculations, and to think that a business was now taking off, but then someone midway, they have the right, of course, to terminate it, but it was such a very short notice. So of course I was kind of feeling some type of way. Anybody would. So the person had asked to stand in for me, received them very nicely, and after a talk, and their buyer was buying them actually very little money. And you know, sometimes when a person thinks you've been making a lot of money and giving them peanuts, and then they actually bring their own person on ground that you have no ties with this buyer, and they are offered very little money, that's when they realize, oh, this person has actually been telling the truth, or this person has actually been suffering losses, or there's not so much money that has been coming on. Because sometimes when you make a business with somebody and you're both non-present, but you are more involved in running the business, they might actually think that all the developments or everything that you're achieving in your life is based on entirely you reaping the profits and not sharing any, which wasn't the case in this one. And I'm pretty sure that after them bringing their own buyer, and them being given a very low offer, they actually came to realize that everything I was telling them about the business was right, because they actually solemnly admitted at some point in the call that they were being offered very little money. So after their buyer refusing to buy, they was actually asking me to keep them for another day so they could go plan themselves well. I told them no, I couldn't. Some of these pigs needed immunization the days to follow. The risk of them dying was also imminent, so I didn't want to take the fall for them losing what has already been offered to them, because it remained in my custody. Not because I chose to not give it, but because they didn't have the plan to take them. Their plan was to sell them on site and then them going with the money. But because their plan wasn't properly orchestrated and everything, they wanted me to keep them. And I told them, I'm very sorry, I really cannot do this. It's already hard for me as it is to be giving them away. Not that they don't have the right to own what they were taking. I was entirely okay. But it didn't mean that I didn't feel bad in a way, seeing my business going down the drain and me suffering losses. So they had to improvise. We actually helped them get a lorry for them to actually put these animals. They started dragging them one by one. They actually mostly took the adult ones of what we had, because we had 24 pigs in that, and they actually took, if I'm not mistaken, they took 18 of them. So yeah, it's kind of a sad story really, but that's what the air was like. So they started dragging them out. Like you see this, these are some of the originals. This is actually some of the first pigs that were born here because of the tails. That's how we mark them. Raising an animal like this could take you around to 3 years, because these are females. They give birth, so we keep them longer. So these were actually pigs that had been with us for almost 2 years, giving birth to some of the piglets that we had as well. So seeing them go wasn't really easy and everything. They tied them and then started bundling them on the truck one by one. The process took some time, really, but it is a sad story. But I'm glad it's behind me right now, and as I speak, I hold no grudges. I'm actually very happy to be a sole partner in this proprietorship. I bear my losses alone and bear the profits. When they decide to come back again, I'll bear them alone. I've reaped the profits alone. So it was kind of a lesson that I learned the hard way, and I'm glad. If I'd waited longer and tried to convince them further, maybe up to now I'll still be dealing with explaining to somebody else to understand the losses that I was going through and everything. But now I make the decision solely as one person, and I'll wait when the business picks up again to reap the profits again as a person, one single-handed partner in the business. So yeah, I had to ask some of my boys who were around to help them, as well as their hired ones, to make sure that my boys bring them out of the sties and then they pick them from the doorway, to make sure that we prevent the contamination, because as I said, we're dealing with some outbreak that had claimed a few of them. So yeah. So yeah, this kept on happening slowly by slowly, because there are 18 pigs. Some of them were mature. Most of the mature ones we gave, and the others that were young and then breastfeeding, because you can't give away the mother and remain with the piglets. Of course, we had to give them the mothers, the piglets that were still breastfeeding, and those that had just finished breastfeeding, 6 months. So the pair was almost like 2 years, 6 months, 8 months, 3 months, 2-week-old, and everything, so that you will just get it over with. Let me tell you, looking at this right now, it reminds me of the feelings that I had that day. As a farmer who has gone through things, just looking at your animals going away like that at literally no pay. Well, I'm not saying they didn't belong or they didn't deserve to have a share, but as a human being, of course, you feel some type of way. So that's a story for another day. But anyways, they packed everything up and yeah, they left with them. So that's the sad story of the year.
Now the piglets, buli wansi w'emmotoka. Katwala buli wansi w'emmotoka. Buubo mbulaba.
This was the last time because I was actually on watching them live and everything. So seeing them cross through that gate kind of gave me a relief. I had a, that kind of breath of everything is over, but I'm in loss again. But I'm glad it's over. Those red lights go. It just, for me, it just created a green light in me, and we went back to count our losses. So this is one. So we just had to make sure we counted and knew exactly what we had. We actually think remained with like 8 of them from what had been taken. I think 8 or 6. I'm not really sure about the numbers at this particular time. So yeah, the next morning we just decided to do some stock taking to make sure now we could ascertain the number of pigs that we had remained with. So we had remained with 8. There were a total of 9 because days later we actually bought a male. We had just bought in a new male so that it could serve our females, which is this one. So we had remained. This was bought out of the partnership, so it wasn't part of the count. So this male here will be our new man serving all our females. So inside here we remained with 4. We actually remained with 1 or 2 pregnant ones. This one was pregnant, this one was just normal, and then this one was okay as well. This one was actually one of our biggest breeders, and then this one. So we remained with 2 of them pregnant, and the other was just normal. Some of these that you see were actually just a few days due to give birth. That's why they decided not to take those, and they chose the ones that were not heavily pregnant or some that had already given birth. So this is actually a few weeks later. This was a month later. These are the pigs that had been born. They were like 2-3 weeks actually. 2-3 weeks. These were like 2 weeks after birth. So it was actually approximately a month later because they'd been delivered a week after the fracas had happened. And yeah, we have another one ready anytime that would be giving birth. This was the male that was outside. We decided to bring it inside so that it could now help the other ones come on heat. And these are the other 3 that were inside here. So this one is not yet served, but the other one was served already. And then we had one that was pregnant but was not yet ready to give birth as well. And this one had been served by this time, so we're just waiting on to see the results of this guy. And this one was pregnant but had not yet given birth. As we speak right now, the difference is actually coming back. We have had an outbreak again, so we lost almost like 8 of these guys here that you see. Months later of raising them, we actually just remained with 4 out of that litter of 10. Sad news, but never be afraid of loss if you want to make profit. And these are the guys. At this age, they actually are standard for some time. Here they were 3 months. At this particular point, they were around 3 months and a few weeks. So they stopped growing a bit at 3 months. And then They're just waiting to get to their 5th month and then give birth. Thank you for watching. Please remember to leave a comment, subscribe, and tell us what you liked about the story or the video.